Cuspers, welcome back to Deep Heights. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you're well and that you've been well. I've got the bones of a lost and found spread laid out here, and let's go ahead and get started. So, what's lost? We have He of the Fiery Sword, and we have the Lady of the Harvest. And this speaks to me with the other cards. I'll just show you all the cards before I get into it. So what's lost is we have the He of the Fiery Sword with the Lady of the Harvest. What's found is Ilba the Retriever and the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Death card, and at the split, we have the Feline. And I feel like this is about knowing when it's time to let go. And He of the Fiery Sword with the Lady of the Harvest. Sorry, my lighting is bad. It's so much glare, but you know, when it comes time to harvest, Cusper, this is the time of your birth, you know, of the season. The fruit, the crops, they have grown to their fullest. They are ripe. They are ready for the picking. They are ready to be harvested. And here, you know, you have your sword to cut the fruit from the vine. If you're out there sorting down your fruit, I don't know, but metaphorically speaking, this is what I'm getting from this is wanting to hang on too long to experiences, to people. You know, it's never nice to hear, because I've been told myself, I know how it feels for someone to tell you, you know, our relationship has run its course, you know, in whatever capacity that may be. You know, it doesn't feel nice, and we want to hang on to what we envisioned for it, the good things, the process of growth, how you get from the seed, you know, to the birthing of the little sprout and the growing and the leaves and branches and eventual fruit of a relationship, and needing to, because it's so beautiful, right? I mean, I would think, I don't know why, but I'm like seeing pumpkins. I mean, I'm a cusper, I'm the 22nd, you know, I love Halloween, I love the fall, I love the colors, and, you know, of these beautiful, you know, pumpkins and oranges and greens, and cutting that away. But, I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but um, needing to let go, and the difficulty in that, because it's time, you know, because the He of the Fiery Sword energy, this is a very masculine energy that takes action, and the Lady of the Harvest is offering up, you know, the bounty, and when it comes to letting go of the past, it's difficult for everybody. And it always bothers me, like tarot readers or anyone like giving advice, like, yeah, you really need to let that go. You need to let that person go, and you shouldn't have any emotion about it, and you shouldn't feel bad, and you shouldn't need any time to process, you know, your experiences in life, because you should get back to work right away. And some people, it helps them, and some other people need more time. I'm a person that I need more time to process things, and in today's world, that's not often understood and accepted, and it's looked down upon, like, you know, if you're a layabout. But people need time to process things. Even Nietzsche said, you know, philosophy and truth, and, you know, it's like a piece of meat. It needs time to be digested, you know, and experiences, life needs time to be digested. But whatever this is that you're experiencing, waxing philosophical here, it's time to let it go. And I love the Ilba the Retriever card. This is my favorite card in the deck. When I first got this deck, I would just kind of stare at it, you know, and because it's such a kindness, and he's holding that pearl, you know, that's something that's been found, because Ilba is like your spirit guide that helps you through something very difficult, and it's like what you use to reinvigorate in your spirit. Even though there's a woman in this card, you know, I'm talking to men as well. You need to feel good inside, and men feel good inside as well. Men can feel lit up from within, and there's nothing, you know, unmasculine about feeling good and happy and glowing, and having that energy, a feeling of self-esteem. Nathaniel Branden wrote this whole book called Six Pillars of Self-Esteem. He had been a student of Ayn Rand and had gone on in his own right to write other books. He wrote another one about romantic love. But Six Pillars of Self-Esteem is really good. You know, I recommend it. I keep it on my little shelf of my favorite books, you know, for men or women. You know, poor men, you're the worst thing you can be in the world these days as a man. I don't feel that way, but anyway. Sorry, y'all. I should stay on focus here. Like Dory. Really like this card too, you know, because this character is outside in nature and there's all these animals and everybody's happy and feeling good. You know, it's like you're fine. Like once you're able to let whatever this situation is go, because whatever it is, it's draining you, it's heavy, it's come to its ultimate end. Like, but there are seeds in that, right? Like this is like the little seed that's in the pumpkin once it's, you know, been carved and you make your pie or, you know, stew or curry or whatever you do with your pumpkin. You know, there are seeds to make new ones, to grow new pumpkins. That's so weird. I'm using the pumpkin as the reference here, but you know, life goes on and I know how hard it is, so I never ever want to sit here like be the type that sits here and says, you know, it's really time to move on, kid, you know, and let that go, let that past go. But it's the cards, you know, and I do recognize how difficult it is and in moving forward and finding the inner fortitude, the strength to move forward, because we have the death card with the feline, you know, and I feel like with the feline here, and it's feline, like as a charge, you know, and he's a lion, but the card is 65, which breaks down to an 11, and I think about balances, you know, because this could be maybe a negative attitude within you, like protecting, you know, because the feline could, you know, be protective, push anyone away that would try to get it to move on and let go, you know, because death is a process. We think of death as the end, and it isn't the end. If nature teaches us anything, is that it transforms. It, you know, there's new life, new ways of being. I always think of that Path of the Fool from Tsarion. I think it was the Temperance card one, and he had quoted Emerson about creation wasn't the secret of life, that it was transformation, that we dive and we reappear in new places. And it struck me I should look it up, and I'll look it up and post it in the bottom. I can find it if it's Emerson, but we transform and we change, and that's what death is a process. And this really kind of signifies, you know, is telling about your real inner feeling of not wanting to let something go when it's time. But I do feel like as you are able to let it go, you're going to find a lot of happiness and finding yourself and your inner feelings of goodness again, that are your own, you know, finding your strength again, yourself again, to move forward. Because in your happiness, everyone else is happy, you know. Because wouldn't you be drawn to a character like this if you had come upon them? Happiness is catching, you know. Just the difference in between these two modes of being, you know, this is an energy here. She's very tired. It does what I'm saying, it looks very heavy and ripe and full, and like she couldn't get up and move if she wanted to, you know. Like fit to burst. I mean, you could think about if you're very pregnant and right before you have your baby, you can't move. And that's the energy that I get here. This is good news, you know, it's always difficult on the path because we never want to let things go. And we're afraid of what happens to us, and a lot of fear in the unknown, which is okay, but you can't allow your fear, or you shouldn't allow your fear to stop you, because it's time. Let's get a little bit more. I'm so sensitive to other people's feelings because I know how this is, you know, and I know like what I don't like to be told by other people's, or when I watch other tarot readers and all of their pretension that they know it all. And I'm not trying to come down on other tarot readers because there are many that are great, but it's not about telling you I'm not saying telling you what's right or wrong, but helping you to discover what's already within yourself. See, yeah, and we have the Four of Wands, but the Ace of Cups is reversed here. So it really makes me think about the Nine of Wands behind that, and the Knight of Pentacles, Four of Cups. Yeah, like there's not a lot of enthusiasm, you know, for in your heart. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of hope, and I think it has a lot to do with your past experience. And I do think this has to do with love, that this is about love, past experiences in love. You know, with the Ace of Cups reversed, Nine of Wands, Knight of Cups, and the Four of Cups. I mean, the Knight of Pentacles with the Four of Cups here. Just a dissatisfaction, a distrust about, you know, because the Ace of Cups is a card about rebirth. It's about beginnings, emotional cleanliness and purity, happiness. You know, this type of energy here. Finding that. Allowing it to flow. So you can maybe have this stability here within yourself. I was saying something about the 11, you know, and then of course the symbolism here is the 11, but it's about balance. Also about the 11th house of things that are unexpected. Aquarius, Jupiter is still in Aquarius, and I think Saturn is still retrograding in Aquarius as well till later on this month. Being open to the possibilities that you can be happy again, you know, because the feline isn't really open to the possibilities that he can be happy again, because death is a difficult process. Change is difficult. That's understandable. That's understandable. I just want to point out here that too, that it's 18 is the Lady of the Harvest, and this is the 4, which is 22, which is the major arcana, you know, the complete path of the Fool. That the 0 card and the 20, you know, in the old decks, the Fool was the 22 card. So it's like the beginning and the end. You know, whatever cycle this is, it's completed. And here with the pearl that Ilba has, it's like you've got some type of wisdom, you've got some learning, you've got your seed from the past that can go on and be planted again, where you can grow and develop, and you continue to move forward in life and not be hindered by sadness or melancholy or wishing that something had been different. So I love that. Well, I love Tolkien anyway, but from that road goes ever on. You never know what lay just around the corner. You never know. All right, let's check the low frequency here. Gaia, earth energy. The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our Great Mother and to the universe that birthed us all. I feel like Gaia was one of the gods in the Greek pantheon. Maybe it was Greek. She was the mother. Kronos, or the wife of Kronos. And then there was the Uranus, which was the heavens, I think was the sun. And then he ate all the children, or something like that. Not that I think literally happened, but just, the symbolism of the story. But the mother goddess that had birthed the archetype, it was an archetype here. I think it's kind of fitting here with this feminine symbolism, with the Lady of the Harvest and then this fairy who was kissed by the pixies. That we have this gift, male or female, and we go through these cycles. Just as human beings, we have the gift of spirit. We go through these transitions, and we are connected. This great mother. Learning from nature, I think, is important too. Let me get another. So we have empowerment and discernment. This is the discernment card. It kind of looks like that pearl here, that little seed. You'll know the difference in the future. The choices that you go on to make in the future. You'll have a little bit more power. And then the discernment card is the 20 card, which I think of just the judgment card, the eon. Awakening to that knowledge that you are connected to the all, to the spirit, and it is there is something about the mother here, because I kind of paused because of my own personal, it's hard to not, with this energy of the mother. There could be distance there, emotionally, scars and past traumas of not wanting to be connected to these processes. And, especially from our childhood, it affects us later on in life and how we are able to process these experiences. We have no guides, and we're just kind of go out into the world and learn. But I mean, it's within us, but we must learn. The only way to learn is do, even though that kind of sounds Yoda-ish. The only way you learn, you must do. Oh, there is no try, you must do. What was that, There is no try, only do. Kind of a nerd, y'all. I make no apologies for it. But yeah, this empowerment, it's, and a lot of, and we have the star symbolism, when we think of Venus, with this, a lot of feminine symbolism here. Maybe some healing needs to be done for both, if you're a man or a woman, with this archetype, with this type of energy of, and what these processes mean, because they're different for everyone, the way that it affects you. But it's your experiences that will that will help empower you to make better decisions in the future. That you'll need to discern that. And I feel another, if I'm speaking to a man or anyone who would be dealing with other women, to maybe you would need to watch out for a mother figure that may think that they know what's best for you, and they might have your best intentions at heart, but they meddle too much. Someone has a mother that meddles too much in their business. That kind of needs to be, the cord needs to be uh, severed there, and being able to really go out on your own. If this would be like a mother figure, needing to cut that off because it's run its course. It's time for you to go out on your own, finding that within you so you can grow, that little seed that you are can grow into an individual. That's interesting. Sometimes I feel like I don't know enough because, when you get a card like this that's just Gaia, there's something in that. Maybe it's for you, that you look it up. It's the 28, which is a 10. Think of the Wheel of Fortune, but I don't think, maybe it's the 10th house of Capricorn. Usually the 10th house is related to the father. Maybe your mother is a Capricorn. Who's with my cusper at this time? Who is with my cusper, teaching them at this time, helping them? The gazelle, the hummingbird on the bottom of the deck. When I think of this, as being constantly alert and having to be constantly alert and aware and wary of an enemy and predators, because these are prey animals, can respond. You have weapons. It has weapons, but you need to be more alert and aware. And I think that really kind of comes in here with this discernment card, needing to be aware of other people, because like the gazelle can like feel the earth moving, feel the change and the wind if there's a stalker, because lions and what else is out in the jungle, not the jungle, God, so dumb, the desert, on the plains, hyenas, lions, I guess I would mainly think other types of just lions. Okay, there's lions after you. Yeah, we got the feline, knowing when it's time, being able to be sensitive enough to your surroundings and to other people to protect yourself. To have better discernment with people, trusting your intuition from experience. And the hummingbird was on the bottom of the deck. They move quick, hummingbirds move quick. So does a gazelle. Being able to go from 0 to 60 and like that. Knowing when when it's time to go. When it's time to let go. So, bear with me here. So you have the word gazelle, right? Gaze, to look upon. And then you have the L part, and the EL, we know that this symbolizes a god. This holier, a god. But I feel like this has to do with something about sacred vision, this ability to see and to discern. I'm kind of struck by this character's eyes. that you need to be able to see and know when it's time to act, to be observant. Teaching you to be observant. Study others. Study the people in your surroundings. Ooh. Kind of took a weird little turn there, didn't it? Gate 1, the creative. Oh, how beautiful. Back of the card. I was talking about being in the desert, but you know, the plains, right? Finding the beauty. Self-expression. Creation has a primal force, the energy potential to manifest inspiration without limitation, individual expression fulfilled through interaction. The energy to attract society. That's interesting. So I was talking in the beginning about, you being more attractive to others. This energy pulls others in towards you. You would be attracted to this type of energy. Not to use it to manipulate, but... And then we have this aloneness as the medium of creativity. Gate 1, this... Think of the magician. Sorry, I'm just looking at the back of the card. Because this character, this robed figure is walking alone, carrying pomegranates. She has a staff, like Gandalf, like a wizard, But of course, I'd think of the pomegranates being associated with the underworld. But she's there in the sunshine. Maybe it's like emerging, from the underworld. We have this death card, and how beautiful that it can be once you move forward, because the pomegranate is full of seeds, taken from the tree. If you want to talk about the mother tree, was I talking about a mother tree? No, that was a Gaia with the earth, which, think of a tree, but this reading is kind of all over the place. Hopefully it makes sense for you, or some parts of it. We're at 28 minutes, so let's see if there's anything else. I'm going to use this deck. See if there's anything else. What advice do you have for my cusper? The world. This is the last card in the deck. This is the 21 card. The Fool being 0, it would be the 22. It's the end, and it fell off over here on top of the He of the Fiery Sword and the Lady of the Harvest here. And I feel like, in the world card and the universe card, even with this Gaia card, knowing that we're connected to the universe and these lessons that we go through in life that are so difficult, and we always think that it's the ultimate end, and of all of the traumas that I have experienced in life and endings, each one being the worst, I couldn't believe that whatever was happening to me was actually happening, and how could things get any worse? And like, this has been the whole theme of my life, these difficult moments, and when is it going to get better, and how do I make it better, and then I realized my attitude towards it as well, acceptance of the difficulty of life, that we won't always feel lit up from the inside like this, that there are moments when we're fatigued, when we're tired, when we're overburdened, when we're angry. resentful of others for trying to tell us anything, give us any advice, resentful of the processes of life, the natural processes of life, which do include processes of death, allowing things to fall away. Participating in that and not fighting against it so much. Creative ways of being, because I talk about with the pearl, you have to make that pearl through much difficulty, and it's uncomfortable. The grain of sand goes inside the oyster shell. It's uncomfortable, and it just wouldn't be very comfortable. You get, if you're walking on the beach or something and you get off the beach and you try to wipe your feet off and you put your shoes back on, you can feel that sand in your feet. It's horrible, very unpleasant feeling. So imagine if that's in your body, but it becomes something beautiful, and it's a pearl. But like that Counting Crows songs, a lot of oysters and no pearls. It's your responsibility to create that pearl. But I do feel like there's something that you need to be aware of and be wary of, but you have more experience now, which will help empower you to have better decision-making skills in the future, be they with potential lovers or just any type of experience. And the Three of Wands is on the bottom of the deck here. It's virtue. This card is Sun and Aries, death behind that, It's behind that. Then we have the Devil. That it's time, it's time to let this go, whatever it is. Was I talking about that Capricorn? The 10th house, with the Saturn here, this energy, but you've maybe been holding on to it for too long. Or even if it's not like another person or a hope or a wish, or something is no longer serving you. And it's, if you don't pluck the fruit right from the vine or the tree, it rots. Then it becomes rotten. And that's how I kind of see this card. It's right there at that point before it's just no good anymore. Then it becomes rotten and putrid, and it begins to break down, and bugs come and feed off of it, and it's gross. You're not gross, but you could have aspects of your being and your spirit and your thought processes and your heart that don't feel too good. We had the Ace of Cups reversed. What was with that? The Nine of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. And I feel like this is a stubbornness and a kind of wanting to hold on to this feeling, or this person, or I think it's this person, and well, that's understandable. And I'm not saying that you would never have to think of them again, it's not, but to where it becomes something that is hindering you, and that one little rotten piece, it goes on to infect the rest, and you don't want that to happen. So it's like you salvage that seed from this wonderful fruit that you are, and it goes on to grow something else into something else. And I think that's really beautiful. That's a beautiful message. Yeah, and then we have the Two of Cups popping out right into my hand, and Five of Cups on the bottom of the deck, to where it's a choice, because in this Five of Cups, she's reaching up on top of the table to something that she can't reach, right? But the Two of Cups are on the floor, and lo and behold, what pops out in my hand? The Two of Cups. It's right there for you. I think that's a beautiful message, and it's definitely a choice, and I'm not saying that people don't need time to grieve, to mourn, to process your emotions that you must feel, and you have bad days and hard days and, you know, moments that you cry, and that's okay. Thank goodness you do. You're a human being, you're alive. You had an experience with, that was beautiful. But it's no longer serving you. We don't want to live in the past or in the future. We want to live in the now, and as beautifully as we can. Because I would much rather see you here glowing than, just down and, so laden, like uh full, like, her breasts are very full, like, it's very full of milk, very painful. It's very painful, very uncomfortable and hormonal and not fun at all. But you have the freedom in spirit again. Happy. This is a 21 card as well. The world. It's a 21. This card is 21. How are you going to approach the end of whatever it is that's coming to an end? Your attitude about it makes all the difference. And sometimes, like, what works for me are affirmations. Like, if I am doing negative talk to myself, and I know that I've heard other people tell me this before in the past, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it really helps me. And I'd be like, um, I'm safe, I am loved, I am happy, or I'm healthy, and I am good. And, because we fall into these tendencies of feeling not good enough, and, so I have Moon in Virgo, Mars in Virgo, and the 8th house. I have rising Capricorn. I'm very self-critical, and I have to do these things, and it helps me. Just that speech, because the word matters. Your body listens. It responds. So try that. Just positive affirmations. And I know that it sounds new agey and gross, because I think it kind of sounds new agey and gross, but there's nothing wrong with telling yourself that you're good. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am light. I'm strong. I can do this. I'm worthy. Okay. Let's close with a shamanic healing card. This reading was kind of long, y'all. It happens usually when I'm not doing readings. Every day my readings will be super long. I miss y'all. I like talking to y'all. Okay. What have you to say to my cusper? In closing. My vision's bad. So we have self-love, and we have the reunion of souls. '41. Ilba is 41. This self-love. '82. Maybe you were born in '82, or you're 28 now. I don't know. This reunion of souls, I think, is interesting. I don't think that this is a reunion of souls with someone alive. I think that this is someone that's around you, someone who's passed on. Maybe they were a Cancer with the 7, and I say that because this is card 7. That's the Chariot card that rules Cancer. That's ruled by Cancer. So, yeah. It's also the mother. Maybe your mother, if your mother has passed on, your mother is with you. And it was also talking about this needing to let go of the mother. I'm sorry if that seemed harsh. It doesn't have to be. But we grieve for that. I know. I know. It's such a difficult relationship, you know. It's about forgiveness, a mother figure, maybe a grandmother, an aunt. And I feel like when we're so jaded and clouded and sad and depressed that you know, nothing's able to get through to us. You know, I had something very bad happen to me when I was 19. I suffered a great loss, and my brother told me that he said, he's like, you have this cloud of hurt around you, and nothing can get through. And it was such a moment, just he and I was driving, and he was 17 at the time. I just turned 19, and he told me this, and I never, you know, over 20 years ago, I never forgot that. And I think that's true because, and it was certainly true then, and still true in some ways. You know, we're all guarded, and, you know, we must protect ourselves from others, and we do have pain and traumas in our life that definitely affect the way that we can connect with other people, but that takes time to process when you've been wounded, really hurt, really, really traumatized. Uh, that takes time and thought, healing, and it certainly, it could take years. We live in a world now where everything is so instant, and healing is not instant. Someone cares about you, someone loves you very much that's passed on, and they are around you. And you'll know who it is, you know, for those of you who this is for. Like you feel them around you, especially when you're in nature, because, and I was talking about that tree. Wasn't I talking about that tree? You know, and here it's like you're on the tree. Like maybe when you're in nature, maybe you went with them in nature. There was a certain tree that they liked, or you planted a tree together as a child. I don't know. That's very specific, but very beautiful. But self-love is so important. You know, I was talking about the 6 pillars of self-esteem here. There's nothing, and even I have the Ayn Rand, you know, the virtue of selfishness, you know, about what it means to be able to tell others no and to know your own worth. You know, I don't know if Rand is for you, but you know, Nathaniel Branden is, you know, she's very palatable, but the 6 pillars of self-esteem would be a good place to start. So I wish you happiness, I wish you luck, and I hope to see you again, Cusper.